More than 1 lakh followers in less than 3 months. Want to know how he did it? We have none other than the Scoop content with us to share some insights. So stay tuned till the end.
So the idea is to be authentic. अगर आपने जो अपनी लाइफ में किया है, if you're making videos out of it, that's the best. क्योंकि if you're talking about if you're talking about getting a high paying job और अगर आपकी खुद की भी job if you don't have that job, तो वो थोड़ा सा conflict of interest रहता है. So it's better if you're making videos जो आपने achieve किया है उसी पर, and try to add more value to the audience.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Thoughtcast. On today's episode, we have someone who's a software engineer and a career coach. He helps young professionals and aspiring students land up high paying jobs. He is none other than Rajat Bansal.
Thank you.
Welcome, Rajat. Happy to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Rajat, to begin with, we want to understand basically from a software developer, how exactly did you get into content creation? What was the turning point? What exactly intrigued you?
So I think like everybody else, I always wanted to make content. I was not able to find, the topic, on which area should I make content. But then I realized maybe I should just make content about my whatever I've done in my life so far, remote jobs and everything. So that made me make content. Yeah.
So, what exactly, like, what was the point where you decided that, I want to record my life, I want to get into content creation?
So I will say when one day when I was traveling, I was in Kolkata for Durga Puja, and I was also working at the same time. So that I felt very happy that I was able to do this. I was working anywhere, working and then also enjoying. So I thought that maybe I should take leverage this and help others as well by growing myself. So what I did was I just started recording in that hotel room as well. That was my first video. I recorded it out of nowhere, and once I recorded it, I went back to Bangalore, and I did a proper camera and light setup, and then that from there I started it. So one of my video blew up, and then from there I continued it.
So, for your information, guys, he has just started in May.
Yep.
And he has already crossed 1 lakh followers, and he has already mentored approximately 1,000 students, and they have ended up landing high paying jobs. So, on that note, Rajat, I want to understand that there are a lot of people who do not come from engineering background, but given the possibility and the good salaries that are there in the tech field, they still want to be a part of it. So can you suggest something, if they do not have that background, how they can still be a part of the tech industry?
Yeah. So I don't think 5 out of 10 companies expect you to come from a computer science background. You will require those skills. There are certain skills. Each role has its own skills. So it doesn't matter what your degree is. As long as it's bachelor's, for example, if you feel that you can do computer science, if you're interested, you can still skill up and do. But if you feel that a formal education is required, maybe you can consider doing higher education. Yeah.
Okay. So, Rajat, I also want to understand that there, like you say, that you help people land up jobs which make them different from others. So there has to be a skill set for that, like, because there are a lot of companies who are paying big, but then not everybody is able to crack that. So what are some of those skills that you believe that people should have to land up those jobs?
I think it's adaptability. So you cannot be focused on one language. For example, I know C++. You just can't say I know C++ now. If the requirement is in Python, I can't do it. You have to be versatile. So for that, your core concepts should be very strong. The CS fundamentals, computer science fundamentals, if they are strong, and if you that will make you confident. Right. And then depending on the company, you make preparation strategies based on the company. Different companies have different hiring procedures. So based on that, you prepare. But the first thing you should do is to clarify all the fundamentals.
So basically, upskilling is the key.
Yep, definitely.
Okay. So, moving forward, like you would have noticed a lot of people's CVs and
Yeah.
students when they're in their final year and they're preparing their CVs, or people who have just started out. So there must be a pattern that you would have noticed. So what are some of the common mistakes that you feel students or young professionals they make, which they don't even realize, but they impact them not getting selected?
Yeah, this is actually a good question. Since I've started, while I'm working on LinkedIn, I regularly get referral requests. So when I see the resumes of these people, it's not just about the freshers, even the experienced people. So what they do is they don't put in a lot of effort. It's quite obvious that they use a template which is like available everywhere on the internet. They just use that template and just copy paste it everywhere. What I feel you should do is when you are applying to a company, like if you want to invest in a company, you go to stock market, right? You want to invest in a company, you do a lot of research, the
Right.
finances and everything. But if you are going to give a very valuable part of your life, right, 1 year 2 year at least you'll work there, you should at least do some research. What is their tech stack, what kind of people work there, and depending on that you have to craft your resume, so that if I'm looking at the resume, I know that hey, these are the skills that I'm looking for. You can easily get it online, right? For example, if somebody's looking at my LinkedIn profile and if I've mentioned that I'm doing JavaScript, so that is quite obvious that my company is using JavaScript, right? So similarly, you do some research, understand what their tech stack is, and then make a resume which aligns with the job role. It should not be a generic role. Yeah.
So one piece would not fit in
Yes,
everywhere.
exactly.
So, for you all, we maybe, according to what Rajat said, that we need to make sure that for every specific requirement, we are preparing a separate CV, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are some of the skills that you recommend someone should have to create a portfolio that will stand out for them? So one is that you've told that we need to upskill, but what are some of the ways in which we should prepare the CV or our portfolio that will make us stand out so that we can get handpicked?
Um, sorry. So, one example that I can give you is, now that I'm doing content creation myself and I want to hire video editor. You won't believe me. There are thousands of video editors, right? Once your page grows, they email you for
Right.
work. But surprisingly, there is only one or two out of those thousands that are actually doing the work. They are able to show what they know. So I think the number one skill that you should have is you should have the ability to show what you know. And the second thing is you should also know what you're preparing for. Software engineering is not just about back end web development. It's a very vast field. You should at least have the basics clear, and you should be able to showcase it in your resume. So how can you showcase it? You should build a solid project which is well thought of. It shouldn't be like just project just for the sake of resume. It should be you're actually solving a problem. I can give you a lot of examples, like Splitwise app, you can make a clone of it. Or there is an e-commerce website, you can make a clone, you can add payment gateways, you can optimize it a little. So yeah, you have to put in a little effort.
So if somebody does not have experience and this is probably their first job, so what do you suggest? Like what they can show in their portfolios?
Okay. There are, if just speaking about software engineering, there are multiple things that you can do. You can participate in hackathons. Try to win those. At least participate. You can even mention that you had participated in. So that will add as a it can be a project. Whatever project you make in a hackathon, that can be one point. Second is you can contribute in GitHub. It's an open source. Any tool, any piece of software, if you are able to contribute in open source, it's exactly like having a second job, a new job. So even if you don't have internships, and if you are contributing it in GitHub, you are making code, you are you are contributing it, it is definitely equivalent to, or in fact in my opinion, more than an internship experience, more valuable than an
Okay.
internship experience. So GitHub. And the third is winning a competitive programming, some programming competitions. If you are able to win them, it's different than hackathon, but yeah, these are the three areas where you can level up your resume.
So, according to what you've said, does participating in the clubs help, like at the college level? If even if you're not doing internships, like you said, if and but we are gaining hands-on experience, so does those clubs also contribute? Will it help?
It depends. If you, for example, have made any if you have used technology to solve any problem in your college through that club, definitely. But if it's an extracurricular activity as a part of hobby, it's not always, you can mention it in your resume, sure, but I don't think people consider it.
Okay, okay. Thank you for this information. So Rajat, moving forward, you work remotely, right? So how do you keep yourself abreast with the ongoing trends and the tech advancements? Any sources, tools that you resort to and you'd like to share with our audience?
Now that I'm working for past 3 years, I know what exactly I want to pursue and what I'm working, which news is going to help me. So for me, I just check out the software releases, their company website. I just keep myself, I regularly read those websites, blogs, etc. But if you're a fresher, if you have no idea what you want to do and you're still figuring out, what you should do is attend the networking events. There are lots of events. Every company organize event every quarter, in fact, so they are free. You just have to email them, or there should be some registration. You just go there, show up, and then understand what's trending, because they always will be talking about cutting edge technologies. Give you an example. One of my seniors in my past company, he flew to Paris to attend this KubeCon event, and he came back with some really crazy ideas. My manager loved it, and we worked on those ideas for 1 year. So just imagine, just one event and our entire company's infrastructure, we just changed it. So yeah, that's the power of attending these events. Plus you get to network people, so they can help you with referrals, because there are now two kinds of referrals. One is, if you ask me for referral, I just put it in my company's
Right.
portal, and you somehow get the contact from recruiters. The second is, if I know you personally, I will take a step further. I will reach out to the hiring manager also, and I'll just forward it, slide in your resume and say that, hey, I know this person is very good. So that extra effort that I'll put in, that will really help. So yeah, attending these events will be very helpful.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So now I want to understand that somebody who is, like you said, this person went to Paris and it really helped. So now, if we talk about students who study abroad, they go to foreign countries, they spend 3 to 4 years of their life there, they take up certain jobs, they gain experiences, and then they come back. So do you think they have an edge over people who have not gone abroad and who have just completed their education from their home country? So do you think the international students or international experience does have an edge?
I think yes. What I've seen what I've seen in a very limited experience of mine, I've seen that yes, people coming from abroad, they really appreciate their work. So in India right now, we Indians are using cutting edge technologies. If you talk about Swiggy, Zomato, the scale at which they operate, they have to use cutting edge technology, right?
True.
So the technology wise, US and India, we are at same level, right? But the only difference is in working abroad. It gives you a culture, a sense of work ethics that you get there. I think that's still missing in India. You get there are a lot of learning opportunities, not in terms of technology, but also overall personal growth, that I feel that working abroad has. In my company also, there are like some of my seniors worked in US and UK, and I can clearly see the kind of work they do, the kind of impact they create. They know how to communicate, they know how to deliver things. So I think yes, it helps if you have the experience.
So as per you, it gives the students or people who are coming from abroad, it gives them an edge. And there are a lot of soft skills that people learn while they're abroad, and when you're staying with your family
Yeah.
or you have that safe environment, then
Correct.
you probably miss on to those things.
Yeah.
But it shows when you're giving the interviews.
Yeah.
Okay. So, any tips for students living abroad, how they can also land up remote jobs or internships while they are still studying?
I think what people do when they go abroad is, let's say if I'm going to Canada, I just look for companies in Canada. One thing that you can do, if you're looking for a good company, high paying company, don't just apply in your country. Try to apply all over the world. Especially if you have a broad degree, right? Higher education in Canada, US, UK, they have lots of value, so you can easily apply to everywhere in the world. So you should do that. So that will a give you number of opportunities, more number of opportunities. Second, your degree would be justified, because I was in my second year when I applied to a Singapore company, a parent company of TikTok, by chance, and I was able to interview them. I was rejected. It was my first interview ever, but I realized that, if I was able to crack it, it could have been, a game changer, my life changer experience. And I just applied it because I was just, surfing internet. I just saw a LinkedIn post, I applied it. So that's when I came to know that, okay, hey, I should not restrict myself to a state, city or something. I should be applying everywhere.
Okay, and if like while I have been selected by a university and I'm staying in that place, so how do you suggest that? See, one is that I can apply and then I can decide once I get the job that this is where I can, go and pursue my studies. But in case if I have been selected by the university first and now I'm looking for internships or jobs, so anything that you can suggest for
Okay.
that?
So in that case, I think applying everywhere won't work. But yes, what I'll suggest is use LinkedIn as Instagram, as you do Instagram. I personally spend 3-4 hours every day on
On
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
I'm so addicted to it. So what I do is I just look at the trending jobs, companies which are hiring. So I can filter it with location, my seniors who are working there. So the moment you enter a college, or even before that, the university that you are going to, try to make a LinkedIn network of those alumni of those colleges or universities. So that will help you to, a, to get a referral, b, to also understand what kind of jobs they are getting, so what kind of internships they did. Then you just basically follow them, right? That's what you can do. Make a data set for of all those companies who hire in your area, and who pay well, who are remote. Understand their interview process and prepare accordingly.
So social media does have a lot of opportunity in itself,
Yeah.
but people are yet to realize it.
I mean, LinkedIn and Twitter. These are
Yeah.
two very powerful tools if you are looking for tech jobs abroad, especially.
So, like you just said that earlier, also where you mentioned that networking is really important, and now that you've shared the importance of LinkedIn and Twitter and other platforms, so like you just said that people can create a channel of alumni, but is there anything else how people who are still abroad, how they can leverage the platform apart from reaching? So one is that where I'm applying I can meet the alumni and talk to them, but at the point where I'm not sure where all to apply, so in that case how can I leverage LinkedIn?
Okay. So in that case, what you can do is filter. There are a lot of filters. It's a very advanced tool. You don't have to buy premium, first of all. LinkedIn, using it for free works perfectly well. So try to understand like which companies are hiring, first of all, right? So that data set you'll get it from LinkedIn only. When you add a location filter there, you'll see all those companies which are hiring there. And once you have the data set, then you'll have to decide that, okay, this is a company for me or not. So yeah, so the biggest factor of before applying to any job or preparing for any exam is to understand what is the expectation. So we have to set the expectations right. For that, you'll have to collect the data, which you'll get from LinkedIn.
That was indeed insightful, and I think that's pretty much it from our side. If you all have any questions apart from the ones that we have asked and that Rajat has answered for us, please drop them in the comments below, and we'll make sure that Rajat answers them for
Yeah,
you.
sure.
So, thank you once again, Rajat,
Thank
for
you.
sparing time out. And it was indeed an insightful session. And now you all know the importance of social media and you just have to leverage it, right? So, thank you. And you all stay tuned and subscribe to our channel.